City boy, city boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy, Nate the Great, back with another video. And you know we gotta go ahead and do a 2025 SummerSlam Night 1 review, baby. Okay, so this show, Night 1, was awful, in my opinion. It was genuinely awful. I did not enjoy much of any of this, to be honest with you, okay? Did we have some decent action in some of these matches? Absolutely. But as you know from watching my channel, you know that's not what we're here for. We're here for storylines, right? We're here for storylines. We're here for characters, character work, and the culmination of good feuds. But we don't have any good feuds on the card this evening. We don't have any good feuds really on the card on either night, right? Like, we really don't. But especially this Night 1. And then what we got from a match standpoint, or from the card standpoint, it's matches on top of matches on top of matches. And then, you know, in between the matches, you just get maybe a vignette of whatever match is coming up next, you know, showing whatever feud they're in, and maybe a Papa John's ad here and there, right? A Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford ad here and there, a fucking Smashing Machine ad, you know what I'm saying? A WWE Unreal ad, right? That's what we're getting on this show, in between the matches, and all the matches are fucking 15 to 30 minutes long, every single one of them. It was exhausting to watch. Imagine paying $17,000 in order to come out here, to go to fucking Newark, New Jersey, to the MetLife Stadium, and watch fucking what? Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez take on Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. You paid $17,000 for that? To watch Tiffany Stratton extend her fucking god-awful reign? That's what we came for? $17,000? I didn't even watch this shit on Peacock. I didn't even give it. I wasn't even going to give him the, give him the satisfaction, give him the revenue from clicking in to their fucking bullshit today. Damn right, I watched that shit from one of them good old sites. You know what I'm saying? So we can go ahead, jump into the review. There's really not too much to say as far as the matches go, because like I said, I don't really care about the matches, but we will talk about each of these matches and the feuds that happened before and how this all culminated, and then we'll get into the match and what all went down and how they ended and all that such. All right, so we'll start at the top of the show when we started off with some superstar walkouts. All right. We started off with Superstar Walk. This is basically an episode of Raw, y'all. We just not gonna do any segments, just all matches, basically. So we get that Superstar Walkouts, and then now next up we get the Drewski hype package for the intro. All right, and this was okay. All right, I don't mind Drewski. I think he's all right. I think there's some things that he does that are funny, and there's a lot of things that he does that I don't find very entertaining. But I thought he did okay in this hype package. Next up, we get Cardi B coming out to open up the show. Now, Cardi B does not do a terrible job opening up the show. She does an okay job. She does look extremely out of place here, but she does an okay job opening up the show. But after opening up the show, yelling and screaming and doing all this screeching that Cardi B is known for, she just sits her ass down in the audience and is never heard from again, as I stated before. So I don't know how in the hell she can be considered a hostess, or whatever the case is. She's not that. She is the show opener. She didn't do a song, nothing, no segment, nothing. This was a waste of time, and they advertised this for months and months and months on end. I actually think that they got this shit they've been in talks with Cardi B to do this shit since last SummerSlam. I'm pretty sure either since last SummerSlam or before last SummerSlam, they've been in talks with Cardi B to do this, and that's all they got out of her. for all the millions of dollars they probably paid her to show up. Crazy work. Crazy fucking work. But next up, we got the show opener, which was Jey Uso and Roman Reigns versus the Brawns. All right, so what a fall from grace that Roman Reigns has suffered, right? Roman Reigns was main eventing literally every fucking pay-per-view under the sun at one point, and now he's opening the show on night one of the first SummerSlam to go 2 nights. All right, opening up the show. And don't get me wrong, I'm not it hasn't gotten past me the importance of having a good opening match, but Roman Reigns is a main event guy, period, point blank. I mean, should you have put the World Heavyweight Championship match in the beginning? Maybe not, you know what I mean? But that's something that they have to figure out in creative, and it has to make sense. But here we are. The match starts off, and they yeet in front of in the middle of the match. This shit was terrible. All right, Roman Reigns got his ass whooped for most of this match, and so did Jey Uso. But they ended up picking up the victory after Roman Reigns sacrificed himself for Jey, getting speared, and then Jey ends up picking up the pin on Bronson Reed, taking advantage of the distraction of Roman Reigns getting taken out and all that stuff. So we got to remind each other how we got here. So Seth Rollins faked an injury, and then Roman Reigns came back to fight the Brawns. Instead of elevating the Brawns, we bury them in their very first match where they, are like an official tag team together. Just go ahead and bury them. So this is a team of jobbers, all right? Seth Rollins faking his injury to get us to this point where Roman Reigns comes back to fight these guys. It really genuinely makes no sense. And then we just got the same shit for 3 weeks in a row of these guys going back and forth. First it's the Brawns going over, then it was Roman and Jey going over in these back-to-back brawls that we got week after week after week, because that's the only way that Triple H knows how to build a feud, right? This is having people brawl non-stop. I didn't care about this match. Roman Reigns' aura is all gone. And looking at that dumbass OTC1 shit that they've been doing, like, that, I can't believe that that's a real thing. That somebody really thought of that in the writer's room, and they put that shit through production. You know what I'm saying? They edited, they came up with merch and all this shit. OTC1. How fucking retarded. Alright? But that was pretty much that, man. This first match was nothing, a nothing burger, and the feud was also a nothing burger, because there was really no feud to speak of. All right, Roman was feuding with Seth before this, and then now the feud culminates in Roman beating the Brawns, or maybe Roman Reigns fights Seth Rollins at Survivor Series for the World Heavyweight Championship. Who knows? But I guess that's something that we'll have to see. Next up, we got Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss versus the Judgment Day. I did not care about this match, man. There was a point in the match where Alexa Bliss punched Charlotte Flair on accident, like knocked her out cold damn near, and Roxanne ended up taking advantage of that, beat the shit out of Charlotte Flair some more, but Alexa Bliss ended up catching an advantage and ended up picking up the victory. And this match was also just nothing. It was nothing, right? We got here from Charlotte Flair just asking for a title match at SummerSlam, just asking for a match on the second biggest show in the calendar year. Just asked for it, and she was just given this match. And then over the last couple of weeks, we've had to watch as Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair become fucking besties. I'm a grown man, and I'm watching two 40-year-old women become two middle-aged white women become besties on WWE television. This is terrible. All right, there was no feud. There was no feud to be had between these guys. They both had a match, or they each had a match with each other. With Charlotte Flair having a match with Raquel, fucking what's her face having a match, Roxanne having a match with Alexa, right? And I guess that was supposed to get us hype. And then this past Friday, all we got out of these guys was a fucking interview from Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. That's all we got, an interview. And then we got this match, and now Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair are tag team champions. That is the feud. That was the feud. That was how this broke down. That's how I don't know, man. I guess that's how the cookie crumbles. But this is not, in my opinion, that's not a good story. Because there was no story here. Charlotte Flair asked for a match. They had no problem with Judgment Day. They had no issues with Charlotte Flair and Raquel. They just wanted the match, and they just received the match. So I don't know how anybody couldn't find this interesting at all. We move on to the Domino's ad where fucking the New Day and the LWO and all these motherfuckers are backstage fighting over the last slice of pizza. Like, this is a fucking joke. This is the best. Like, this is the only kind of segment that we got throughout the night. And it was a fucking joke of a segment where they're fighting over the last slice of some damn Papa John's pizza. I won't lie, it almost got me. Okay, after this, I was like, should I get some Papa John's? But no, man, we gotta save our ducats. We gotta save our ducats out here. These giants are trying to take our money like Papa John's and WWE, but we won't let them have it. All right, stay cooking in the kitchen. So we got that ad, and then after that ad, we got Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. Now, in this match, I only have a couple things to really say about this, man. This is the second pay-per-view in a row where Karrion Kross has been looking up at the lights. Okay? And I don't know how we can justify this when Karrion Kross is more over than Sami Zayn. It is just a fact at this point. I don't care who doesn't like him at this point on the internet or whatever. With the crowd, he's over, right? And he's over on the internet with a lot of people. I actually dig Karrion Kross a little bit. I just wish they would give him some different material. I wish they would give him something else, because I see that there's a character there that can work. But if it's just bullshit about him trying to turn Sami Zayn heel, trying to get the darkness out of Sami Zayn, like, who gives a fuck? Sami Zayn has turned face and heel at least 3 times since he's been in the WWE. So why would we care about this at all? Why would anybody care about this? Give Karrion Kross actually something to work with. But no, we're here in a match with Sami Zayn yet again. All right, and in this match, Karrion Kross is really egging on Sami Zayn, and Sami Zayn is really losing his fucking mind. He's going off on the Karrion Kross, really just every opportunity that he gets, he just takes the extra mile, right? Just really going ham on him at every given opportunity. At some point during the match, due to Sami's instability, Scarlett, for some dumbass, Scarlett, Karrion Kross's wife, tosses the pipe into the ring. Because I guess they were hoping that Sami Zayn would take the pipe and, bash Karrion Kross with it. So they're playing devil's advocate, and Karrion Kross is willing to get his ass beat with a steel pipe or a lead pipe or whatever the fuck it is, whatever they want to call it, right? He's willing to get his ass whooped by Sami Zayn with a steel pipe just so he can have Sami Zayn turn to the dark side. And how does this benefit Karrion Kross? We have not heard this. Karrion Kross is just doing this just because. That's why I don't like this shit. That's why I can't get into this shit. These guys have been going at this shit for months just for it to end off like this. With Sami Zayn refusing to turn heel, the audience went lukewarm as hell after that for this match, okay? After that, after he refused to turn heel, like, because he picks up the steel pipe and then he just yeets it back onto the floor, and then the audience is like, oh, right? Like, you can audibly hear the audience go, aw. And then they start booing, right? Like, they actually start booing. And then Sami Zayn does this whole little shtick where he does the exploder into the corner and then the haluva kick. And once again, Karrion Kross is looking up at the lights off of one haluva kick. For what? What was even the point of this? Why even have Sami? Like, why even put Karrion Kross in this position? Why even do any of this if Karrion Kross was going to lose anyway? Why take up a main event spot? LA Knight wasn't on the card tonight, and Karrion Kross just gets jobbed out for the second time, or the second pay-per-view in a row. Genuine garbage, man. Genuine bullshit. Genuine. I could not believe my eyes. I mean, I could, because it's Triple H's booking, so nothing really surprises me at this point. But seriously, man, I'm sitting here like, what was even the point of all this? Why did you waste all this time? Why did we put this match on SummerSlam if this is how it was going to end? The crowd hated it. They started booing Sami Zayn because of how terrible this fucking booking was. They should have at least just made him turn heel. Like, just fucking do it, right? Because at least then maybe Sami Zayn might have some kind of character to him. But right now, he's just a generic-ass good guy that looks like he should be working at Trader Joe's or some shit like that. All right? So we move the fuck on because obviously Sami Zayn won this match. To the match between Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill. Now this match, it wasn't overly long, I guess. It was like 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. That's how it felt. It felt like it was somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes. Long-ass match, but it didn't feel super long, as some of these matches did. Like the CM Punk and Gunther match, that shit have felt like it took forever. The Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, and Braun match, that shit felt like it took forever. But this match didn't feel like it was stayed or overstayed its welcome. But Tiffany Stratton ends up picking up the victory here after Jade Cargill does the most goofy shit that I've ever seen in my life. Jade Cargill hits Tiffany Stratton with the fucking Jaded and then rolls her directly into the corner, tries to pin her, and then they tried to say that it was inadvertent, but she very clearly put Tiffany Stratton's leg onto the rope. I seen it with my own two eyes that she put Tiffany Stratton's leg on the rope so that way Tiffany Stratton could get the rope break. And it looked so awful that they had to try to play it off on commentary, talking about, oh, well, you know, this was just a misstep, you know, inexperienced by Jade Cargill. I don't even think Tiffany Stratton knew that was happening. Jade Cargill just made a mistake. Like, no, that was awful. This is what I'm talking about. In order for these matches to work for Triple H's advantage, or to work to Triple H's advantage, he always has some shit happen that just makes zero fucking sense. Like, why would Jade Cargill, of all times, roll... I've never seen Jade Cargill roll somebody that damn deep into the corner before after doing the Jaded right smack dab in the middle of the ring. It makes no sense, man. I feel like I say that 10 times per video. But that's just the epitome of the show. It just is the theme of this show. It doesn't even try to. It doesn't even try to make sense. Jade Cargill was winning the match towards the end there, and then she just loses the match because she does that shit. Ends up getting hit with, you know, Alabama Slammer and fucking, the damn, prettiest moonsault ever, and then that was the match, man. So Jade Cargill loses after winning the Queen of the Ring. Coming to this whole little point, like, there was no feud here, really. They had no beef with each other, really. Jade said some slick shit to Tiffany sometimes. Tiffany says some slick shit back here and there. Tiffany helped out Jade when Jade was getting her ass whooped, like, and now we're here. Jade just gets buried under Tiffany. This was the perfect time to switch that title over to Jade, because Tiffany Stratton, her title run has been stale. It's been stale for a long time, and it's time to move on. But instead, what do we get? Triple K back at it again. The only way black people are able to get on the show on a SummerSlam is or a WrestleMania is if they're losing. if they're shucking and jiving in some fucking Papa John's commercial, or if they're lost in a sea of white people and Hispanics in a fucking 6-team TLC tag match. They couldn't get that match at WrestleMania, a TLC tag match at WrestleMania. They had to get it the Friday after, or the Friday before, whichever one it was. They had to get that when the Street Profits were tag team champions. But the Wyatt Six, they get the big 6-man or 6-team tag team championship match on SummerSlam when the Street Profits never got an opportunity to fucking to defend their title on a pay-per-view. Like, that's where we're at. I'm convinced. All right, I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm convinced that Triple H is a racist. I think he likes black women more than he likes black men. But at the end of the day, he does not like black people. Or he has a very strong bias against black people. And he does not think that black people are marketable. He doesn't think that black people can sell or whatever. I don't know what it is that he thinks about black people. I think he thinks that black people are supposed to be just the entertainers, right? They're supposed to be the guys singing and dancing and shucking and jiving, right? That's why he'll bring out a black dude, right? Some unknown black kid from fucking somewhere in New York or Newark or wherever he was from. They'll bring him out so he can sing the God Bless America. But he won't have any black people on the show unless they're advertising something or unless they're fucking losing. I'm tired of it, man. I'm tired of it. He's taking out Bianca Belair. He destroyed her fucking WrestleMania streak. Now he's destroying Jade Cargill. Picked her up when she was doing just fucking fine in AEW. She was doing just fine over there. Jade Cargill decides to come over to WWE because she thinks this might be a bigger opportunity for her. And then WWE proceeds to bury her for a whole entire year and a half. Shit's crazy, man. And then we got to move on to the worst match of the evening between Jelly Roll, Randy Orton, and Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. All right? This match was 90% Jelly Roll arguing with Randy Orton about how Jelly Roll believed that he could do this. About how Jelly Roll believed that he had it in him to take on whoever it was, Logan Paul or Drew McIntyre, whoever was in the ring. What ends up happening in this match is Jelly Roll ends up getting his ass handed to him for most of the match while Randy Orton stands on the outside. Jelly Roll even took and I'll give Jelly Roll some credit, a whole lot of credit for taking this bump on the Spanish announce table I don't remember if it was the Spanish announce table or their announce table, it doesn't matter. But Logan Paul did a splash through the announce table, through fucking Jelly Roll, and that shit was crazy, right? So, Jelly Roll, he's getting escorted out by medical staff while Randy Orton is getting his ass whooped. Then Jelly Roll, he decides, he's like, nah, I can't do this. I'm not going to just let Randy get his ass whooped. I can't leave my man's hanging, right? He brought me over here. He brought me to Newark. I can't leave him hanging like that. So he goes back to the ring. Randy tags him in. Jelly Roll proceeds to get his ass whooped again, right? I mean, I guess he hits a couple of moves and shit like that. But the match ended with Jelly Roll taking the pin from Logan Paul. As it should, right? As it fucking should. I mean, seriously, were you going to have Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre lose to Jelly Roll and Randy Orton? Like, this match legitimately was effectively a 1-on-2, right? Like, that's what this match was. Because Jelly Roll really provided nothing to this match. And the fact that he got time on this card when LA Knight was not on the card pisses me off, okay? It puts me into a dark place. And I don't like being in this dark place. So, Jelly Roll, like I said, he ends up taking the pin. And, Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul, they just stand around after the match. And that's it, man. Next up, we got Gunther versus Punk. Now, this match was okay. I didn't mind this match. It was basically just a long-ass beatdown. All right? Because Gunther was whooping the shit out of Punk for the majority of this match. Probably like 60 to 75% of this match was Gunther's offense. All right, but Punk got a couple of really good moves in, and then towards the end of the match, he ends up knocking Gunther off of the announce table as Gunther's like doing some celebration. He's celebrating on the announce table, knocks him off the announce table. Gunther gets up, he's bleeding. They're saying his nose is broken, right? Gunther's all over the place, he's tripping. CM Punk ends up getting him into the GTS, hits him with it. Gunther's still standing. He gets hit with another GTS. Gunther goes down. 1, 2, 3. CM Punk is your new World Heavyweight Champion for about the next 3 minutes until Seth Rollins, his music hits, and Seth Rollins, he stands at the top of the entrance, at the top of the ramp with Paul Heyman beside him, and Seth Rollins is standing on crutches, and he has a leg brace, and he stands up there laughing and giggling and smiling for like 2 minutes for no reason at all. Then he starts to walk away. Then he comes back. He drops the fucking crutches, snatches off the leg brace, runs down to the ring with the briefcase in hand, starts beating fucking CM Punk over the dome piece, over his back, and just beating the fuck out of him with the briefcase. Then he cashes it in, hits CM Punk with the stump. 1, 2, 3. Seth Rollins is now your new World Heavyweight Champion. So it was work. It was work. But they're trying to call this shit the ruse of the century. I want to ask a question here. If this was the ruse of the century and all this shit, in what world does Seth Rollins have to take a pin from LA Knight for one, fake an injury, leave WWE television for 3 weeks? What did he have to do all that for in order to just do this? This had nothing to do with an injury. This had nothing to do with a ruse of the century, nothing like that. This was Triple H knowing damn well that if he kept CM Punk and Seth Rollins on TV at the same time for the next 3 weeks, or for the past 3 weeks, that by the time SummerSlam came and it was time for Seth Rollins to cash that in, then the people, they weren't going to care. And at the very least, if Seth Rollins is gone for a couple weeks, out of sight, out of mind, people think that, you know, that he may be hurt, may not be hurt, then at the very least, him coming back, it ensures that there's going to be some kind of pop. And that is what Triple H was hoping on. It's what he got. MetLife Stadium went somewhat crazy, not really crazy, not like they did back, you know, when Seth Rollins won his, cashed in his first Money in the Bank champion, Money in the Bank briefcase. But they did, you know, celebrate with him for a little while there. And I mean, I guess it is what it is, man. Like, this shit was retarded. All right. I can't believe Seth Rollins did all that just so he could surprise CM Punk when he could have did the same thing, right? So this has nothing to do with Seth Rollins being some kind of architect, being some kind of genius, like they're trying to push it, like they're literally calling this shit the ruse of the century. I was watching just a little bit of the post show while I was getting ready to record and shit like that, and they were literally trying to put this shit over as if this was the heist of the century all over again, as if this was just the greatest comeback in the history of humanity. You would have thought Stone Cold himself came out with a briefcase and 6 beers and just beat the shit out of CM Punk and cashed in the briefcase. That's what you would have thought would have happened. That's what you would have thought happened here. But no, it was just Seth Rollins who had faked an injury for some reason, for no reason at all, really. Like, CM Punk still could have been in the same position, right, where he still could have just won the title, and CM Punk or Seth Rollins could have still came out there, still could have, you know what I mean, like, he still could have did the same exact shit that he did tonight, just without all the leg brace and all the fucking pageantry and all that extra shit, right? So tonight's show was a fucking dud, man. Tonight's show was a failure, in my opinion. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10. There was some, like I said, some decent action in some of these matches, but for all the feuds that, and for this to be the culmination for most of these feuds and storylines and such, if you could even call them that, This was a poor show. This was a very poor show. So keep your eyes tuned and keep your eyes peeled for the review tomorrow. I'm sure it's going to suck. There's a reason why they didn't sell out this show tonight. They sold 52,000 tickets or 51,000 tickets or some shit like that. Motherfucker, that's an 82,000 seat arena. Like it's an 80,000 plus seat arena stadium. I mean, so they only sold 5/8 of the potential that they could have sold. They made sure to keep on telling you, oh yeah, we've sold over 50,000. There's only 50,000 people here this evening, but they never once said we're sold out tonight. Right? Never once said we're coming live from a sold out MetLife Stadium. Never once did they say it. Because they can't. They fucking couldn't. Alright? Once again, let me know what y'all thought down in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you want to hear some more. And this has been your boy, Nate the Great, back with another video. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.